Hey everybody, this is James Bowens the Barber. Look me up on Facebook, facebook.com/James Bowens the Barber. I'm going to go over my setup here, what I'm using in the shop, just in case anybody have questions on what clippers they should buy and what's the proper setup, or what I use as a setup for cutting hair in the shop. These are just clippers that I prefer to use. I'm not at all saying that they're the best ones out there, but this is just what I have. So the Andis Outliners. These are the Outliner 2s, which have the narrow blade on them. And these are the same ones. They just have I bought a cover for them because they get hot sometimes. But they're the same gray ones that I just showed you. And these are the T-liners. And I use different blades because sometimes you'll have somebody that have their eyebrows are close to their hairline, so it may be a little too tight to use this wide blade. So that's when I go to the narrow one. So they're just the standards. I've been using them for years. Love them. Here's the Walls. I think they're called the 5-star detailers. This is a T-blade also. What I love about these is they have a rotary motor, which means they do not heat up like the electrical, I don't know what you call these, magnetic motors. They heat up. They create heat. But these rotary motors, they don't heat up at all. You can use these all day and they will not get hot on you. And they get pretty sharp also. You can zero out the blades on these and the Outliners. Oster Fast Feeds. These are my standard go-to clippers. I've had a pair of these ever since barber school. They just have always been the general go-to clipper for anything. But what I mostly use them for is when I cut Mexican hair or white hair. They seem to work the best for me for those because even if you're cutting someone's hair and you have to spray it down with water to cut it with the shears, this will cut wet hair. So it's just my standard go-to. I also use these on elderly clients that they have that thin hair that sometimes you'll have clippers that it pushes the thin hair out. It really doesn't cut it the first time around. But these have always worked for me, so that's what I use those for. Then I have the Andis Masters. You see I have 3 sets of them here. They all have different blades. The housing is the same, but the blades are different. This one is the fade blade, which you can see is flat. It's almost like a liner blade. And it says Fade Master on the body, but all of these are the exact same body. Just it has different lettering on it, but it's initially the same thing. This is the 0-aught blade, which is the most common one. And if you can't afford to buy 3 sets like I have here, then this is the one that you want to get starting out. And then the second one you can get the fade blade, because the fat blade, which is this one here, is just a little thicker. You can see the difference. It's a little thicker. It keeps you from having to grab a bunch of guards because it pretty much goes, I think it goes to a number 2 from maybe a 3-aught to a number 2. But they have their clippers called the Fade Masters, which the body looks like this, but it's brown color and it has this alligator looking texture on it. And it's called the Fat Master, which is spelled P-H-A-T, Fat Master. But I didn't want to go through that route of buying another set of clippers when I already had a pair of Andis Masters anyway, so I just bought the fat blade to go on it. So these are the Andis Excel 2, I believe it is. These take all of the blades that the 76s and the 111s, I believe, the Oster. It takes all those blades, and they make blades for these also. Andis makes blades specifically for these. They have 2 speeds on them. They have a rotary motor also. They can cut through anything. They can cut wet hair. I use these for everything from fading to, just a general all-over cut, even all over. Here's all my blades that I use. When it comes to these blades, try to get blades that have the ceramic blades. The ceramic bottom blade is white. They just seem to stay sharper. I've never had any problems out of the regular stainless steel blades or whatever, but I just like the ceramics. All right, I'll move back a little bit. I have my brushes here. This brush is used strictly for hairlines. I use a spritz or a holding spray, and what I'll do is I'll spray that on the bristles, and then I'll brush the person's hairline out. This is what you do when you're getting ready to line somebody up, and let it dry, and then when you line it up, it gives a crisp line. It holds the hair in place, so it'll be a crisp line. So I only use that specifically for the hairlines. This brush here is just a general brush I use when I'm doing bald fades and whatnot. Sometimes people come in with products in their hair like grease or pomade or something, and normally they need to wash that out so they can get a nice clean cut, but everybody doesn't do that. So sometimes when you cut their hair, the loose hair will stick to their head because of the grease or whatnot. So that's what I use this brush for, to knock that away. This is just a general nail brush. You can get these for like 50 cents from dollar stores or you know, the beauty supply places. But I use this just to to brush the hair, loose hair off my clippers while I'm working. And this never touches a customer. It's only used for knocking the hair, the loose hair off of the clippers before I place them back in the sanitizer. These clippers here, a guy came in the shop one day, he had 2 sets of them. He sold them to us for 25 bucks, and they're really, I think they're animal trimming clippers or something, but they were brand new when he brought them in, so they never touched the animal. But they work perfect for, you know, general cutting. I don't use these for any bald fades or anything because they just don't get close enough. You know, they are adjustable, but for the most part I use them for even all over cuts where I don't want to deal with the cord or anything. So they work real good. They're inexpensive, and they're just you know, something nice to have around. My super shaver here, or I think it's called this shaver shaper or something, 5-star wall. This is used in the place of using a razor. You know, a lot of African Americans have problems with getting hair bumps from razors and stuff, so this is the next best thing. Once you use the liners on someone's head, like a bald head or something like that, you use this to knock that stubble down, and it'll get it to where it's baby butt smooth. So, and they're rechargeable, no cords to deal with. You can use them with the cord also. Then up here, you'll see I have my combs and stuff, and I took the sanitizer stuff out. That's why it's not anything in there. But you got to have some type of sanitation for your equipment because you don't want to pass any diseases on to people. I have pomade back here. I have gel, regular gel back here for when people want mohawks and style type of cuts. My brushes that I use to knock the hair off, the oil. This here is a it's called powder stick, and this stuff is used for electric shavers. Right before you use them on someone's head, it smooths the skin out and dries any oils on there so it doesn't get too sticky. Then I have my products over here. I like using pump sprays because the aerosol sprays, they just mess with my throat, so I try not to use that stuff, so I just get the pumps. But I have oil sheen, holding spray. I have some moisturizing lotion back there if someone's scalp is dry, hand lotion, hand sanitizer, baby powder. I don't buy the powder that comes, you know, the stuff specifically made for barbers because it's, to me, as much as I use, I don't need to keep buying that expensive stuff when I can just get this cheap stuff and it works just as good. But I always get the pure cornstarch. I don't get the regular stuff because I guess it's a little more healthy for your body. I have hand wipes or whatever for, you know, to keep your hands sanitized. My spray bottle on the side. And then here's my astringents, which is like equivalent to Sea Breeze. I don't use Sea Breeze because, once again, I go through a lot of this stuff, so I don't feel a need to spend $6 and $7 a pop on a bottle when I can just make it myself. I just mix alcohol with, I'll use a wintergreen alcohol with aftershave lotion, and I'll buy some type of fragrance. Normally I'll buy like body oil type fragrances and pour it in there and mix it all together, so it works out well. So this is my setup here. I hope you learned something from it. If there's any questions or comments that you might want to ask that you see up here, you see I got speakers set up to listen to music too. Being a musician, I just like to have music around me. But anywho, that's my setup. Any questions or comments, feel free to leave them, and I will answer them as best as I can. So happy cutting.